Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome into beautiful Pheno Field here in Milford, as Milford TV is happy to once again bring you coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics. This afternoon we've got a big matchup in the Hockomock League for baseball between your Milford Scarlet Hawks and the visiting Kelly Rex Division Attleboro Bombardiers. I am Tim Coet. Rob O'Keefe also here on the coverage, and it's gotten to a critical point in the season for the Scarlet Hawks. They only have 2 games remaining on the season, and as we take a look at how the second half of this season has unfolded for Milford, it has definitely been a bit of a grueling stretch. Some bad losses mixed in there. They only have 3 wins over the course of their last 10 games, so a 3-7 stretch for the Scarlet Hawks. That dates all the way back to May the 5th. They've lost their last 2 straight, a 7-4 loss to Stoughton and a disappointing 8-2 loss to Hopedale back on senior night a couple of nights ago here under the lights in Pheno Field. And you just kind of look at the offense versus the pitching so far this season. The offense has held up their end of the bargain more often than not, but it's the pitching that Milford has continued to try to seek out the answers for over the course of really this entire season behind the arm of Alex Croteau. So we'll see if they can get a big pitching performance here today. It will be Griffin Lynch on the mound for the Scarlet Hawks. And Milford needs to win one of their final 2 games on the season if they hope to make it into the playoffs. Meanwhile, their opponent, even a little bit more desperate than that on the field today, Attleboro, coming in with an overall record of 8-10. They're 2 games below 500 in league play, so they need wins in each of their final 2 games of the season if they hope to squeak their way into the MIAA playoffs. So it's do or die for the Bombardiers here today. Milford, it's 1 more win and they're in, so we'll see how desperation plays into the games of each of these 2 teams on the field this afternoon. We will have the starting lineups and the game's first pitch when we come back next here on Milford TV. And we welcome you right back inside Pheno Field, ladies and gentlemen. It is Milford taking on Attleboro here on this 27th day of May. Just 2 days left in this spring sports regular season for the Scarlet Hawks baseball team. And as we mentioned in the open, it's been a bit of a bumpy road here over the course of the second half of the season. Things really looking strong in the early days of the year for Milford, but pitching has been a bit of an issue. As we mentioned, hitting, it's been a strong suit for this team, especially with the emergence of Aiden Wild, such a strong asset to this offense, scoring a total of 105 runs coming into the game today, 5.8 runs per game, but 111 total runs allowed by this pitching staff, allowing 6.2 runs per game, so they're allowing more runs than they are scoring on the season. Hoping to change that today. As Griffin Lynch gets warmed up on the mound, we will head right into the starting lineups for these 2 teams. First, for the visiting Attleboro Blue Bombardiers. Leading it off is their captain and center fielder Matthew Elliott, with Tim Bement, the designated hitter, batting second. Nathan Tellier, today's starting pitcher, bats third, with Captain Will Carter catching and batting fourth. Robbie Araujo, the third baseman, bats fifth, with Tyler Stowe, the third captain on this Bombardier squad, batting sixth and playing left field. Brent Cook is the right fielder and bats seventh, with Tim Christensen, the first baseman, batting eighth. And in the ninth spot is the second baseman, Cam Hawkwater. Flexed out of Attleboro's lineup today is their starting shortstop, Matt Callahan. And for the Milford Scarlet Hawks, their lineup looks like this. Drew Wild leads it off and plays second base, with Aiden Wild in at shortstop batting second. Jeff Basazzi catches and bats third, with Blake Hill playing right field and batting cleanup. Griffin Lynch is today's starting pitcher, batting fifth, with Brian Ireland in the sixth spot playing third base. Anthony Mazzini bats seventh and plays first base, with Pete Schuler, the center fielder, batting eighth. And in the ninth spot is the left fielder for today's game, Chris Speroni. So we have not had an opportunity to see Griffin Lynch work this season. Left-handed pitcher getting ready to face the Kelly Rex Division Attleboro Bombardiers. It's been a strong season for baseball for the Kelly Rex Division this season. Attleboro hoping to just squeak their way into the playoffs, needing a win in each of their final 2 games, as I mentioned off the top. And this game underway as the first pitch from Griffin Lynch swoops in for strike 1 to Matt Elliott. The 0-1 pitch is a swing and a miss for strike 2. Attleboro currently in 5th place in the Kelly Rex standings with their 8-10 overall record. Here's the 0-2 pitch, a little bit up. 1-2 now the count. 8-10 overall, 6-8 in league play. The 1-2 pitch now is hit in the air out to center field. Pete Schuler picking up a head of steam now towards the left center field gap where he makes the catch. That one twisting around a bit out there in the wind. There has been at times a strong breeze out on the field this afternoon, but overall terrific conditions. It is 83 degrees at game time. Bright sunny skies overhead. One out in the inning now for Tim Bement, the designated hitter. He takes the first pitch for a ball. Lynch staring into Basazzi for the sign, now into his windup. The 1-0 pitch, that's in for a strike. Defensively for Milford, it is Basazzi behind the plate with Brian Ireland at third, Aiden Wild at short, Drew Wild at second, and Anthony Mazzini at first. Left to right in the outfield, it is Speroni, Schuler, and Hill. Two balls and one strike the count with one out and the bases empty in the top of the first. And the count evens once again at 2. A very good year for Attleboro in 2014, making it all the way to the semifinal round of the Division I South sectional bracket as Bement swings and misses. The first strikeout victim for Griffin Lynch in the game. Lynch has retired the first 2 in the inning, and now here is Griffin Lynch's counterpart in the game, Nathan Tellier, Attleboro's starting pitcher. Tellier listed at 5'8", 150 pounds. Lynch's delivery. Tellier able to hold up on the swing, says the infield ump. 2 balls and no strikes, now the count. That one grabs the inside corner, 2-1 now. Lynch winds and fires. This pitch line down the left field line, but it is a foul ball. Some nice summer weather for these fans to enjoy here at Pheno Field today. Fans still filing in, setting up shop all around the ballpark. 2 balls and 2 strikes now the count to Tellier with 2 outs and the bases empty. Here's Lynch's pitch, and it's hit on the ground. This is a fair ball down the line, heading into foul territory and left. Speroni, a little bit of a bobble. Here comes the throw into second base, not in time. Tellier in with a stand-up double. So Tellier unable to keep it fair down the line on the previous swing. Able to do so this time as he gets it just between the third base bag and the glove of Brian Ireland. Gives Attleboro an opportunity to bat with a run in scoring position and 2 outs here in the first. For now, Will Carter, the catcher. Close pitch, but it misses for a ball. Two 2-0 now the count. Looked like it was going to be a quick inning for Lynch here in the first. A 2-out double, and now falling behind against Carter. The next pitch, that's in for a strike. Two balls, 1 strike, 2 outs in the inning. Tellier takes his lead off of second, bluffs partway down the line. Now the pitch gets away from Basazzi, but they will actually say that it hit Carter. It got a piece of maybe the foot. So no advance for Tellier beyond second base, but Carter will head down to first on the hit by pitch. 2 on now with 2 out and a chance for Robbie Arrojo. Big swing and a miss on the first pitch from Arrojo. So far, a steady diet of right-handed bats against the left-handed throwing Griffin Lynch, as this pitch is hit in the air out to center field. Schuler settling underneath. He makes the catch for the out that ends the inning. So Attleboro able to get a couple of runners on with 2 outs, but they are not able to score. So half an inning in the books. Milford will take their first swings of the game when we come back here on coverage of Milford High School Athletics on Milford TV. Drew Wild, Aiden Wild, and Jeff Basazzi, the usual suspects atop this Milford order. They will get things started here in the bottom of the first inning. Attleboro unable to score in the top half of the inning, and now Nathan Tellier takes the mound. For the visiting Attleboro Bombardiers, Tellier brings in a 1.69 ERA to the game this afternoon. He has been very good for the Bombardiers this season, 29 innings pitched. He's started 5 games, a 1-0 record. This pitch takes a hop to the backstop, a very loud round of chatter coming out of the Milford dugout. The team pumped up for this game as the hot-hitting Drew Wild gets it started against the righty Tellier. Takes a swing and a miss. Tellier back into his windup. Here's the pitch outside. Good live arm out of Tellier. The next one on the way, and it's a swing and a miss. 2 balls and 2 strikes, the count to Drew Wild. Comes into the game this afternoon batting .429. A terrific season for both Wild brothers. Here's the 2-2 offering, and it's swung on and missed. A strikeout for Tellier to open his outing. And now here is Aiden Wild, who carries the heftiest batting average on the team up to the batter's box. .547 the average for Aiden Wild. Just an incredible hitting display out of the freshman. He takes a called strike 1. Wild with 2 doubles, a triple. Is 14 runs batted in on the season. Very productive out of the number 2 hole. A swing and a miss, and the count goes to 1-2. A long look in for Tellier now. Brings the glove over the head, delivers to the plate. This pitch fouled off the very top of the backstop. And it remains a 1-2 count. Breaking ball stays upstairs and evens the count at 2-2. Defensively for Attleboro, it's Will Carter behind the plate, Robbie Arrojo at third, Matt Callahan at short, Cam Hawkwater at second, and Tim Christensen at first. The 2-2 pitch is swung on and missed, back-to-back Ks. Now for Tellier in the first. Left to right in the outfield for the Bombardiers, it is Tyler Stowe, Matt Elliott, and Brent Cook. Attleboro's gotten very solid pitching throughout this season. Tellier's first pitch into Basazzi misses up and in. They lost their last game in extra innings to their rivals from across town in Attleboro, the Bishop Fee and Shamrocks, by a final score of 10-9. That was the first time all season that this Attleboro pitching staff had allowed double-digit runs in a game. Took an extra inning game for it to happen. Here's the 1-1 pitch. This is hit out to the opposite field. That's going to drop in fair ground in front of the right fielder, Cook. And Jeff Basazzi has himself a 2-out single. This Attleboro pitching staff has notched 2 shutouts on the year. They've allowed 4 runs or fewer in 10 of their 18 games on the season, allowing an average of 4.3 runs per game. So, again, a very capable pitching staff up and down. It's been the offense that's been the problem. So basically the opposite issues plaguing each of these 2 teams. For Milford, it's been plenty of offense, and at times the pitching has not been there. Blake Hill a chance to bat here with a runner on first base and 2 down in the bottom of the first. Drives a pitch foul off to the left. One ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Basazzi, a delayed steal on a pitch down in the dirt. The throw is going to 1-hop into the second base bag, and Basazzi has the stolen base. That's how you have to do it when you're a catcher. You have to catch them by surprise, and that's exactly what Basazzi did. The delayed steal executed to perfection. Into scoring position now with a count of 2-1 on Hill. And now a swing and a miss brings the count to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Blake Hill with 5 very good innings on the mound against Hopedale over the weekend, but unfortunately ran out of gas in the 6th as that game got away from the Scarlet Hawks. The 2-2 pitch swung on and missed for strike 3, and that ends the inning. Tellier strikes out the side in the first. Milford leaves a man in scoring position. We're done with 1 from Pheno Field, scoreless between Milford and Attleboro here on coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics on Milford TV. Top of the 2nd inning now from Pheno Field. Attleboro about to bring up bats 6, 7, and 8 in their lineup against Griffin Lynch, who allowed a couple of base runners in the 1st inning, but no damage on the scoreboard. Tyler Stowe, the left fielder, to lead it off, and he takes a called strike 1. Griffin Lynch bringing a 3.60 ERA to the game this afternoon. His 0-1 pitch. That one just misses, and the count evens at 1. Tyler Stowe, another one of the good arms on this Attleboro pitching staff in there today as the left fielder. Tyler Stowe faced this Milford lineup when these 2 teams met back in 2014. That was a game that Attleboro ended up winning 7-0, so that good Attleboro pitching shutting down Milford a season ago, as now Stowe sends this pitch to the opposite field. In his tracks, it is Blake Hill who is able to make the catch, and Stowe is retired. 1 down for Brent Cook, the right fielder. Griffin Lynch delivers his first pitch. This is hit hard to 3rd base, where Brian Ireland is able to make the catch just prior to that ball hitting the turf. Good reflexes out of Brian Ireland. 2 quick outs. And now it's the first baseman, Tim Christensen, who digs in. Out in front of the first pitch from Lynch. Count going to 0-1. You look at Brian Ireland over at 3rd base. He has really settled into a very nice role with this team over the course of the season, providing valuable innings out of the bullpen. He's proven to be a capable offensive player as well. This ball in and out of the glove of Ireland. He recovers and sends a good strong throw across the diamond for the out that ends the inning. So Ireland contributing to 2 of the 3 outs in this top of the second inning. It is a 1-2-3 frame. We head right on to the home half of the second, still scoreless in this coverage of Milford High School baseball on Milford TV. Griffin Lynch pitching 2 scoreless innings to open up this game. He will now lead things off for the Milford offense in the bottom of the second against Nathan Tellier of Attleboro, ready to deliver his first pitch. And it's down low. It ends up rolling straight through underneath the backstop. One ball and no strikes on Lynch. Batting over 300 at this late stage of the season, 308. 16 hits and 52 at-bats on the year. Has a couple of doubles, 1 triple, 9 runs batted in. Sends a pitch on a line to the backstop. Two balls and 1 strike the count. The next pitch on the way, low again. Tellier trying to find his release point here to the first batter in the second inning. The wind currently blowing pretty hard in towards home plate. Here's the 3-1. It's hit hard on the ground, past the glove of the pitcher, past the dive of the shortstop, and out into center field. Matt Callahan going into the dive behind the second base bag. Even if he had somehow managed to snag that ball, he never would have gotten Lynch at first. Solid contact from Lynch, and it's a leadoff single. The Milford bench continues to be very engaged in this game now as Brian Ireland steps in looking to bunt. An awkward attempt, but he gets it down the first base line. It'll go for a sacrifice. Got himself all spun around in the batter's box, but somehow that rolled out in fair ground. A couple of feet down the first base line, it gets the runner into scoring position. One out now for Anthony Mazzini. Brian Ireland moved up into that 6th spot in the lineup. So certainly his good play has warranted the respect of Coach Pellegrini, moving him up in the lineup. And showing off the fundamentals, getting a good sacrifice down to move the potential first run of this game into scoring position. Next pitch from Tellier dips in too low. Lynch out to a lead at second base. As that pitch misses outside, lunging for it was Carter, the catcher. And now timeout called. The catcher will head out to the pitcher's mound to talk things over with Tellier. Nathan Tellier able to strike out the side in the first inning with the bloop single by Basazzi mixed in, but he has not looked particularly comfortable through the first couple of batters of the second inning. Here's the next pitch. This is outside, and it's ball 4 to Mazzini. Milford trying to get a rally going here in the second. Runners at first and second with Pete Schuler now at the plate. The last at bat we saw out of Pete Schuler in our coverage here on Milford TV was in the 7th inning against Canton, in which he led off the 7th inning with an inside the park home run. But Milford unfortunately dropping that game 16-9. One ball and 1 strike to Schuler. Lynch the lead runner at second, Mazzini at first. There's a called strike. The head coach for the Attleboro Bombardiers is Matthew Bosch. Two balls and two strikes now the count, with Chris Speroni waiting on deck. Each runner out to a lead. Here's the pitch, not close. And that runs the count full. Tellier continuing to struggle with command here in the bottom of the second. Milford looking to take advantage. Here's the payoff pitch, and it's low and outside. This will load the bases. Back-to-back walks for Tellier. And this will prompt a visit from Coach Bosch. Coach Bosch, an excellent baseball mind. I had an opportunity to work with Coach Bosch quite a bit, covering Attleboro sports in previous years. His starting pitcher, Nathan Tellier, finds himself in a jam here in the top of the second. The bases are loaded with one out in the inning, and a big spot for Chris Speroni. Speroni, a junior on the Scarlet Hawks squad. Our first chance to see him in game action here on Milford TV. And he takes the first pitch for ball one. The chatter continues to intensify out of the third base dugout occupied by the Scarlet Hawks. Turning to bunt now is Speroni. He pulls the bat back and takes a called strike. Attleboro playing in tight at the corners. Robbie Arujo and Tim Christensen in on the grass. Callahan and Hawkwater playing at double play depth up the middle. Again turning to bunt, and bunting it foul down the first base line. So Milford trying to manufacture a run here despite having the bases loaded with one out. It's a 2-ball, 2-strike count now on Speroni. I think Attleboro would be happy to exchange an out for a single run here in this situation. That pitch just misses off the outside edge. 3 balls and 2 strikes, a full count to the number 9 hitter, Chris Speroni. Nowhere to put him on the bases. A big pitch coming up for Tellier. Here it comes, and it's swung on and lined foul over towards the Pheno Field parking lot. The only out in the inning so far was on the sacrifice bunt by Brian Ireland. Griffin Lynch at third, Anthony Mazzini at second, Pete Schuler at first. Another 3-2 pitch, and it is swung on and missed. A huge strikeout for Tellier. It's already his 4th strikeout in the first inning and 2/3 of his outing, but not out of the woods yet, as he has to face Drew Wild with now 2 outs. And Wild takes the first pitch for ball 1. Wild was one of 2 strikeout victims back in the first inning, 3 strikeout victims in the first inning, I should say. The 1-0 is hit foul. Drew Wild with 8 runs batted in on the year. He's drawn 7 walks. Here's the 1-1, lifted foul off to the left. And all of a sudden now Tellier one strike away from getting out of the jam. Milford had the bases loaded with one out. They remain loaded with two down. It's a 1-ball, 2-strike count on the captain, Drew Wild. Here's the pitch. Hit in the air. That will twist foul and out of play down the left field line. A lot of dirt getting kicked up around the infield as this wind continues to push in from center field. The 1-2 pitch. It's hit hard on the ground to shortstop. In and out of the glove of Callahan. A run will score. Everyone will be safe. Matt Callahan, in solely for defense in the game, commits the error that allows Milford to take the 1-0 lead. So Lynch comes in to score. The bases are reloaded. Now for Aiden Wild, who sees the first pitch sail high for a ball. Mazzini now at third, Schuler at second with Drew Wild at first. And this pitch is hit high in the air out to left field deep. This is over the head of Tyler Stowe. It's going to roll towards the wall. 1 run in, now 2 runs in. This will clear the bases as Drew Wild comes in to score. Aiden Wild slipped up as he rounded the second base bag, but he's able to get in safely with a bases clearing double that puts Milford up 4-0. Attleboro had the outfield playing shallow, and that really burned them as Tyler Stowe had no chance to make the catch on that ball, and boy, was the error at shortstop costly. All of these runs in the inning unearned. A 4-0 lead for the Hawks. And now the first pitch into Jeff Basazzi misses. He is the 8th member of the Hawks lineup to come to the plate. Basazzi sends one on a hop to second base, fielded there by Hawkwater. He throws to first for the out that ends the inning. But big damage done in the second with 2 outs for the Milford Scarlet Hawks. And the key hit in the inning, a bases clearing double by Aiden Wild. Done with 2 now from Fino, a 4-0 lead for Milford here on Milford TV. Milford only collecting 2 hits in the bottom of the second inning, but the 2 walks by Tellier turned out to be big in the inning, and also a key error at shortstop opened the door for the rally. Milford scoring 1 run on that error, and then 3 big runs on the double by Aiden Wild to take a 4-0 lead early. Griffin Lynch now with that 4-run cushion to work with. Issues strike 1 into the number 9 hitter Cam Hawkwater. Now this one hit on 1 big hop to third base, fielded cleanly by Ireland. He throws to first. Five in a row now retired by Griffin Lynch as we head back up for the second time through the Attleboro lineup. Matthew Elliott, who flew out to center field, up for the second time. One of the few lefty bats in this Attleboro lineup. He sends a hard shot to first base, picked by Mazzini. He takes it to the bag himself. 1 pitch, and out number 2 of the inning is recorded. Only 3 pitches in the inning so far overall for Griffin Lynch. He's got the first 2 outs of the inning, and now here is Tim Bement, the designated hitter. He struck out against Griffin Lynch back in the first. Takes a look at strike 1. And this pitch popped up behind first base, now into foul ground. Mazzini tracking it. And he makes the catch. And it is a 5-pitch, 1-2-3 inning for Griffin Lynch here in the top of the third. 2.5 innings complete now from Pheno Field. Milford with 4 runs, Attleboro with 0 runs here on coverage of Milford High School baseball on Milford TV. 4 runs on 3 hits with no errors for Milford, no runs, 1 hit, 1 error for Attleboro. Into the bottom half of the third inning we go here on coverage of Milford High School baseball on Milford TV. I am Tim Coet. Rob O'Keefe also here on the coverage. On a very summer-like day here right at the end of the month of May. Blake Hill getting it started for the Hawks. Taking a couple out of the strike zone against Nathan Tellier, excuse me. Allowed 4 unearned runs in the second inning. As that one grabs Blake Hill off the right forearm. He shakes it out as he trots down to first base. Hill had struck out in the first inning, now reaching on the hit by pitch. It puts a man on ahead of Griffin Lynch, who opened up the second inning with a single, came around to score on the error by the shortstop Matt Callahan. Lynch swings away at the first pitch and sends it foul out of play. So far, Milford appears to be the looser of these two teams. Both of these teams needing wins here late in the season to try to scrape their way into the playoffs. Milford with a little bit more of a margin for error, needing only 1 win in these final 2 games. Attleboro needing to win both of their final 2 games, and they find themselves in an early hole in this one. As Lynch sends one on the ground to shortstop, could be 2. The throw to second base out there, on to first. Unable to pick it at first base was Tim Christensen. Lynch beats it out for the fielder's choice. So Blake Hill erased from the base paths. 1 out now in the inning for Brian Ireland. Hit a sacrifice bunt last inning. Half-hearted swing out of Ireland for strike 1. Brian Ireland batting .375. 9 hits and 24 at-bats. He has 3 runs batted in, a couple of extra base hits. He's also walked 4 times. So a very good on-base percentage of .464. That pitch just grabs the outside edge, a bit of a generous strike call. 2 strikes on the batter. Attleboro does have action in their bullpen. As Brian Ireland is called out on strikes, there's the 5th K for Tellier. It is Nolan Kane, a junior, right-hander, warming up in the Attleboro bullpen. 2 outs now in the Milford half of the 3rd inning. Anthony Mazzini now at the plate, worked one of back-to-back walks against Nathan Tellier last inning to set up the bases loaded scenario. Mazzini batting .224 on the year. Takes a called strike on the outer edge. Griffin Lynch walks out to a modest lead at first base. It's being held by Christensen. That pitch had Mazzini backing out of the way. It had good late movement across the plate, ended up grabbing the outside edge. 1 ball and 2 strikes with 2 outs in the inning. Defensive swing out of Mazzini. He rolls it foul towards the backstop. Again, a steady breeze blowing in. The next pitch on the way to Mazzini. He holds up the swing. The runner takes off late. Lynch is out by a good margin at second base. So Milford again trying to use that delayed steal, but this time Attleboro's catcher Will Carter able to gun down Griffin Lynch at second base for the out that ends the inning. So no runs scored in the frame. We've played 3 now from Fino. It is a 4-0 lead for Milford here on coverage of Scarlet Hawks Athletics on Milford TV. Entering into the 4th inning of this Hockomock League crossover matchup. The Davenport Division Milford Scarlet Hawks against the Kelly Rex Division Attleboro Bombardiers. Milford with the 4-0 advantage. As Attleboro sends their 3, 4, and 5 hitters to the plate. Nathan Tellier, the pitcher, leading it off. Takes ball 1 from Griffin Lynch. Tellier lofts a shallow pop-up on the infield. Drew Wild drifts over and makes the catch. Tellier frustrated as he heads back to the dugout as out number 1. Now here is Will Carter, who was hit by a pitch back in the 1st inning. He takes ball 1. Two balls and no strikes now the count. Lynch winds and fires and misses high. 3 balls and no strikes the count to the catcher and co-captain Will Carter. Here's the 3-0, and that grabs a piece of the outside edge. Griffin Lynch has retired the last 8 Attleboro hitters in a row. Here's his 3-1 pitch. And that's in for strike 2. He works back in to fill up the count. 3 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out and the base is empty. Here is the pitch. And it's hit in the air. Out to shallow center field. Drew Wild drifts out. He takes charge and makes the catch. Drew Wild taking care of the first 2 outs of the inning, and now here is Robbie Arujo, the 3rd baseman. And first pitch swinging, Arujo lifts it in the air to the left side. No one with a clear sight line on the ball at first. Eventually, Ireland able to catch it for the out that ends the inning. So 3 quick and easy pop-ups for Lynch. It's his 3rd consecutive 1-2-3 inning. And we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. It remains a 4-0 lead for Milford here on coverage of Scarlet Hawks Athletics on Milford TV. Anthony Mazzini was at the plate when Griffin Lynch was caught stealing to end the third inning. He gets a fresh count to open up the bottom of the fourth. Tellier remains on the hill for the Bombardiers, delivering that last pitch inside. Tellier back into his windup. Here's the pitch, a swing and a miss. This one popped up in foul ground over towards the first base dugout. Catcher, pitcher, and first baseman giving chase, but that one well out of play. Attleboro facing very tough competition in the Kelly Rex division this season, as we mentioned. Mansfield having a great year at 13-5 overall, already sewing up a playoff spot. Taunton at 12-7, Franklin at 13-7, as the 2-2 pitch goes up over the head of Mazzini. And meanwhile, Milford continues to hold on to second place position in the Davenport, but things are extremely tight as Mazzini takes ball 4. The third walk for Nathan Tellier, this one to lead off the fourth inning. Right now, Milford, Canton, and Stoughton all in a dead heat in the Davenport standings. 9-9 overall records, 7-7 records in league play. So an opportunity to have a number of Hockomock League teams represented in the playoffs, depending on how these final few days of the season shake out for these teams. Mazzini at first base now for Pete Schuler, who drops a bunt down towards second base. Tellier will fire to second. That bunt hit to the pitcher, who was able to field it quickly, fire to second base to cut down the lead runner, so no sacrifice for Schuler. He reaches safely at first base on the fielder's choice. So one out now, and swinging at the first pitch is Speroni. He hits a high hopper to the pitcher. Tellier able to fire to first base just in time to get Speroni. Pete Schuler moves down to second base, but now with 2 outs in the inning. 1-3 on that ground out by Speroni. And now here's Drew Wild. Wild reaching on an error his last time up. That brought 1 run to the plate. Wild eventually came around to score as his younger brother Aiden cleared the bases with a double to give Milford the 4-0 lead they currently enjoy. Good speed on the bases at second base, and Pete Schuler, as Drew Wild pops this pitch up, foul and out of play. One ball and 1 strike on Drew Wild with 2 outs and the man at second. That pitch inside. Schuler again out to a good lead at second base. Another one on the way to Drew Wild. Another foul ball. Now a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Wild hits a roller towards second base. Tough to get a handle on it at first for Cam Hawkwater, but he was able to recover in time. Not far to go with the throw. That helped him out. And he's able to get Drew Wild at first base for the out that ends the inning. Milford strands another runner. They have now stranded 5 in the game, but as we head to the 5th inning, Milford continues to lead it 4-0 over Attleboro here on coverage of Scarlet Hawks Athletics on Milford TV. Tyler Stowe, Brent Cook, and Tim Christensen, the 3 batters expected for the Attleboro Bombardiers here in the top of the 5th inning against Griffin Lynch. And Tyler Stowe leads the inning off with a pop-up that had the center fielder Pete Schuler backpedaling at first. He ended up having to charge in to ultimately make the catch. We've seen a lot of quick outs made by the Bombardiers since the 1st inning. A 1-pitch out to start off the 5th inning. Now here is Brent Cook, who takes a called strike 1. Lynch's 0-1 delivery misses outside. This Attleboro team a season ago finishing up the year with a 15-7 record. They earned the number 2 seed in the Division I South playoff bracket. 2-1 now the count to Brent Cook. They received a bye through the 1st round of the playoffs. They then went on to play a number of teams that Milford fans know well from the Legion season. We'll tell you about that in a moment as Brent Cook grounds out to 3rd base. A nice play from Ireland to Mazzini. Attleboro defeating Plymouth South in the quarterfinals of the tournament last year 6-5 before losing to Norwood in the semifinals by a final of 2-0. Norwood went on to go all the way to the D1 state finals before losing to Leominster 6-1. As this ball is hit on the ground to 3rd base, Ireland another good play, a high throw, but a nice leaping grab by Mazzini. He comes down on the bag. And a 6-pitch 1-2-3 inning in the 5th for Griffin Lynch, who has really been economical with his throws through the first 5 innings. On to the home half of the 5th we go. It continues to be a 4-0 lead for Milford here on coverage of Scarlet Hawks Athletics on Milford TV. Just like that, we have reached the bottom of the 5th inning here at Pheno Field. Milford continues to carry a 4-0 lead over the Attleboro Bombardiers. They received 3 of those runs off the bat of a bases clearing double by the man at the plate right now, Aiden Wild. Taking a look at the stat leaders on HockomockSports.com. Milford stats were not included in those lists. However, if they were, Aiden Wild would be your clear-cut batting average leader in all of the Hockomock League, batting .547. And Tellier really not giving him anything close in that at bat. Wild works the walk. As now Coach Bosch will come back out of the dugout. The entire infield now coming in towards the pitcher's mound. We'll see if there will be a pitching change here. Coach Bosch has not taken the baseball yet from his starter. And you can tell just from the gestures of Coach Bosch talking arm slot with his pitcher, so possibly leaving him in there, at least for one more batter. And he will indeed leave Tellier in there for now. It's hard not to start to look ahead towards the Milford Legion baseball season, which is just really a matter of days away, depending on what ultimately happens with high school play. But Aiden Wild in the fold for Post 59 for the first time this season, and judging by his high school stats, you have to imagine that he is going to be a big presence in the middle of that post 59 lineup, which is already returning a lot of proven hitters. Jeff Pasazzi, also a member of post 59, coming up in 2015, his second year on the Legion squad. He is at the plate now with a runner at first base and no outs. As a matter of fact, the first 6 hitters in this Milford lineup today will all represent post 59 in the upcoming Legion campaign. Tellier paying close attention to Aiden Wild at first base. He takes off, the pitch in is low, the throw down to second base is not in time, and it's a steal of second base for Aiden Wild. 2 balls and 1 strike now, the count to the catcher, Jeff Pasazzi. The 2-1 is sliced foul off to the right, up over the Fino Field concession stand. As of now, the Legion season set to get underway here at home on June 14th. That is the date of the home opener. Pitch to Pasazzi, a foul ball up over the glove of Will Carter. It clipped to the very top of the catcher's mitt on the way by. Aiden Wild a lead off of second base. And now time is granted. One more quick point about the Legion season. The original start date of the year was June 4th at North County. That game has been rescheduled, so now the first game of the season set for June 6th at Sturbridge. As this pitch is popped up, backpedaling out onto the right field grass is the second baseman, Cam Hawkwater. He makes the catch, and Pasazzi is out number 1 in the inning. Pasazzi now 1 for 3. One down now for Blake Hill. Struck out swinging to end the first inning, was hit by a pitch to lead off the third. He swings at the first pitch, lines it back up the middle. The catch made there by the shortstop. Matt Callahan covering a lot of ground to snag that pitch in the air, then chased Aiden Wild back to the second base bag. Solid contact by Blake Hill, but it's out number 2 of the inning. And now it's up to Lynch, who takes a called strike 1. Lynch a single and a run scored in the second, reached on a fielder's choice and was caught stealing in the third. Sends a little dribbler over towards third base. Quick hands by Robbie Arujo, gets the throw over to first base in time to end the inning. Milford has stranded at least 1 runner in every inning of this ball game, but as we head into the 6th inning, they continue to hold on to a 4-0 lead over Attleboro here on coverage of Milford High School baseball on Milford TV. Attleboro in search of a rally as we get set to kick off the top of the 6th inning. The number 9 hitter Cam Hawkwater to lead it off against Griffin Lynch. Lynch has been very good so far in this game. Here's the 1-0 pitch. And it's in for a strike. See that wind swirling around the infield. Kicking up the infield dirt. 2 balls and a strike now the count. Lynch back into his windup. The pitch is lifted in the air. Out to shallow left field. Now just a shade outside of the infield dirt. It ends up Chris Speroni is the one who comes in to make the catch. Aiden Wild in a little bit of danger, but Speroni was there to make the lunging grab. Cam Hawkwater 0 for 2, and it brings us back up to the top spot in the lineup. The third at bat for Matthew Elliott. Watches the pitch travel up and away for ball 1. Elliott grounded out to first base in his last at bat. Takes a pitch low. Elliott up now, Tim Bement the DH to follow. As this one is popped up, looks to be playable for Drew Wild, who now comes in. The ball ends up on the infield dirt. Elliott will reach at first base. So you can see that swirling wind playing a factor. Now this ball is chopped foul, so that breaks up a long string of batters retired by Griffin Lynch as Elliott reaches on the error by Drew Wild. That was a catchable ball. Ended up back in the outfield grass, tried to travel back in as the wind took that one and just could not recover. And now the pickoff attempt very close as they had Elliott leaning in the wrong direction. Griffin Lynch had retired 14 batters in a row before Elliott was able to reach on the error. Had not allowed a base runner since all the way back in the first inning, allowed a double and a hit by pitch in that first inning. So he still only allowed a single hit. Tim Bement now at the plate. Sends a liner out to left field. Speroni looks to have it sized up, makes the catch. 2 outs now in the inning. And now here is Nathan Tellier, who has Attleboro's only hit in the game. He doubled with 2 outs back in the first inning. Since then popped out to second base in his only other at bat. And it looks like they'll call the balk on Griffin Lynch. Puts a man in scoring position with 2 outs for Tellier. One of the top hitters in the Attleboro lineup. He swings away, sends it out to center field. Drifting over is Schuler. He makes the catch. So Attleboro finally able to get a base runner in the inning, but they cannot do anything with that base runner. We're through with 5.5 innings now from Pheno Field. Milford continues to lead the game by a score of 4-0 over Attleboro here on coverage of Milford High School Athletics on Milford TV. Brian Ireland leading it off in the bottom of the 6th inning. Milford now just 3 defensive outs away from a victory in this game and assuring themselves a playoff spot. the owners of a 4-0 advantage in the game. Nathan Tellier, the starter for Attleboro, still out there on the mound. Brian Ireland, a sacrifice bunt and a strikeout in the game. He's ahead now, 3 balls and 1 strike. First batter of the bottom of the 6th, and ball 4 sails well outside. The leadoff walk back out of the dugout comes Coach Bosch, and this will in all likelihood be the day for Tellier. Issuing his 5th base on balls of the game to start this 6th frame. And he will head off now. They have had junior Nolan Kane warming up since early in this game. He will now come in out of the dugout as Tellier's day on the mound is done. So we will step aside for the pitching change. More to come in this bottom of the 6th inning when we return here on Milford TV. Nolan Kane takes over on the mound and immediately sends a pickoff check over to first base, where Brian Ireland dives back into the bag. Now Anthony Mazzini sends a dribbler down the first base line, a foul ball. Mazzini didn't break out of the box right away, but the catcher picking that one up in foul ground. The 0-1 pitch drops in for strike 2. So Tellier pitching the first 5+. He allowed 4 runs on 3 hits. None of those runs were earned, as Mazzini sends a hard shot just foul down the left field line. Tellier walked 5 and struck out 5, so the command at times was very good and at times was shaky for Tellier, but really it was that second inning that was the difference maker in this game to this point. The error at shortstop opening the door for those 4 unearned runs to come around to score. As now this one is chopped to the left side, fielded at shortstop by Callahan, a double clutch, and he'll only get the 1 out at second base. Mazzini out on the force play at second. Or excuse me, Ireland out at the on the force play at second. Mazzini reaches on the fielder's choice. He is at first base now with 1 down, and Pete Schuler at the plate. Schuler reaching on a fielder's choice in his last at bat. He also walked and scored a run in the second inning. Milford does have action warming up in their bullpen. It is their ace, Alex Croteau, loosening. As Schuler takes a pitch inside for a ball. Schuler now sends a 1-hopper to shortstop. They record the out at second base, and a quick release from the second baseman over to first base completes the 6-4-3 inning-ending double play. Nicely turned by Nathan Tellier, who is now in defensively at second base after coming out from his pitching duties earlier in this inning. So Milford again leaves a man on base. We're through 6 innings, 3 outs to get. Griffin Lynch will head back to the mound to start it off in the 7th inning. We will see the start of that top of the 7th inning when we come back next here on Milford TV. Griffin Lynch looking to finish what he started in this game on the mound here in the top of the 7th inning. Facing Will Carter, the cleanup hitter in the Attleboro lineup. Carter reached on a hit by pitch back in the 1st inning and then popped out to second base in the 4th. Half-hearted swing at that pitch, and he lofts it foul off to the right out of play. One ball and one strike. And now a chopper over towards third base, fielded by Ireland. A quick throw to Mazzini at first base. And there is one out here in the 7th inning. Attleboro getting a 1-out base runner last inning. It was their first base runner since the 1st inning. They have not been able to get much of anything going against Griffin Lynch all day long. Just 3 base runners in total on the day to this point. And Griffin Lynch quickly getting ahead of Robbie Arujo, who is 0 for 2, a fly out to center and a pop out to third base. Back into his windup, here's the pitch. A close pitch, but missing outside. 1-2 the count on the Attleboro third baseman. And a swing and a miss for strike 3. 2 outs in the 7th. Milford 1 out away from locking up a playoff spot. That's only the 2nd strikeout in the game for Griffin Lynch. Again, he has been extremely economical with his pitches. He's been pitching to contact. He's been very comfortable doing it throughout the game. His defense has been solid behind him. First pitch misses to Tyler Stowe, the last chance in this game and the last chance for a playoff spot for Attleboro. A loss here today, and Attleboro will be officially on the outside looking in of the MIAA tournament. The pitch from Lynch, there's a called strike. Lynch right back on the pitching rubber. He winds and fires, and this pitch is popped up over towards second base. Drew Wild settling underneath. He makes the catch. And for the 37th consecutive season, there will be playoff baseball in Milford. The Scarlet Hawks win this game by a final score of 4-0, and they will once again enter the upcoming MIAA playoff tournament. It was a pitcher's duel today, but a 4-run inning for Milford in the 2nd. Really their only offensive outburst of the game, but it was plenty for Griffin Lynch, who completes the shutout effort. 7 innings pitched, a 1-hit shutout for Griffin Lynch. 2 strikeouts in the game, no walks. Again, only 3 base runners allowed all day. You don't get much more dominant than this effort today by Griffin Lynch. And on the offensive side of the ball, the one big blow in the game, the bases clearing double by Aiden Wild. That came as part of that 4-run 2nd inning that gave Milford the lead, a lead that they maintained all day long. So timely hitting by the offense and a superb outing on the mound for Griffin Lynch. And so Milford improves to 10-9 overall on the season, 8-7 in league play, and regardless of the outcome in their finale on the regular season, they will be in the playoffs with this 4-0 victory over Attleboro today. So they will close out the year by the end of this week. They have just one final game coming up on their schedule. That will be on May 29th against Sharon. So one final game coming up here at Pheno Field on the regular season before the playoffs begin. And once again, Milford will be a part of those MIAA playoffs. But that wraps up our coverage here today. The victory goes to Griffin Lynch for the complete game shutout. The tough luck loss to Nathan Tellier for Attleboro. And for Rob O'Keefe, I am Tim Coette. Your final score one final time. Milford defeats Attleboro in shutout fashion by a final score of 4-0. This has been a presentation of Milford High School Athletics here on Milford TV. So long, everybody.